What inspired me to do filmmaking? That is how some people have asked me a few questions about that. And today I'm going to be explaining that. What inspires me to do filmmaking? By Nicholas Pajuelo. Let's begin. Movies have been around for about a very long time now. I mean, they've been around ever since the beginning. And yeah, storytelling has always been very important, especially for film media. And it's like one of the best things that have ever happened. And for this, we're looking back at some really famous directors. The obvious one who inspires me for filmmaking is George Lucas. Not because he directed Star Wars, but also he directed films like American Graffiti and THX 113, which was based on a screenplay that he wrote back in college. He does a really great job with balancing out the fantasy and world building of Star Wars. And for THX 113, he does a really great job with those, and I gotta give him credit for that, where credit is due. Another filmmaker that actually inspired me to do filmmaking as well is Steven Spielberg, who directed films like E.T., Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, and Indiana Jones. And he's also a really good friend of George Lucas. There's a fun fact for you. He does a really great job on helping adapting from something from a book, or adapting from old action serial films into some of those things, or take an idea from a concept from a friend. Well, not from a friend, but from an idea that he had in mind, and adapting it to the big screen. And he does a really great job with that, especially learning more about experiences on war. Other directors that I would say that also inspire me for filmmaking are Kevin Smith. The way about how he directed his small indie films like with Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Dogma, and Clerks 2. And recently with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, the way about how he puts his money in, taking his time to direct these indie films. They are executed very well, and overall I just really like his direction for low budget indie films. He did a really amazing job with those types of films, and basically, yeah, the way how he brings characters like Jay and Silent Bob to life is pretty good, and you can tell that he had faith in this universe, and that he had faith in this this low budget continuity film universe that he had. And this was back before Marvel decided to create their own shared universe. This was back before Marvel had the idea of a cinematic universe. Other directors that also inspired me to do more filmmaking are Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the guys who are behind films like 21 and 22 Jump Street, the Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They did a really amazing job with bringing those movies to life, and the way about how they made bad ideas turning into good films is executed pretty well. You can tell that they had faith into something of a bad idea turning into a good idea, turning into a good movie. They did a really amazing job with that. In other words, they're the king of bad ideas. How when I first started off as a filmmaker, as a young filmmaker, back when I first started my YouTube channel, I was into brick films. I wanted to do Lego fan films. But over time, I wanted to try something a little new, and I wanted to try something different, such as live action. I have tried some live action stuff, and they are pretty good, to say the least. But yeah, they are pretty good, and I do try my best to work on them, to get them right. And basically just, yeah. Filmmaking to me is a true passion of art. It's basically an amazing concept of art. And film has been around ever since the beginning of time, and film is still going strong to this day, and everyone is just so happy about the genre of film and just watching movies to this day. And I myself am, and I'm trying to keep more dreaming about doing more filmmaking, and I can't wait to see what is going to happen in the near future.